That day, after a long interrogation, the policeman took me down the corridor leading to the jail. I went through a door that opened with a heavy creak. I stepped out into an open space covered on all sides by cold concrete walls. The gloomy and dark atmosphere made my heart clench. This is it. Go inside. I wonder how many days I'm going to have to spend in a place like this. No, if I'm convicted, I'll be in this cage for so much longer than a few days. I knew it. I must have done something wrong.
Oh, are you new here?
Well, you're another quiet-looking fellow. The one who spoke to me was a man in his late 50s or early 60s. He was in a gloomy room with only a thin mattress and a simple toilet. He was an unusual man with a mysterious aura. They call me Carl. What's your name? Your name. What's your name? I mean, if you don't want to tell me, that's fine too. It's Edward. Edward, huh? It's nice. Fresh that fits you. Don't go shrinking in the corner like that. Act more confident. It's not like this is my house or anything. He's such a friendly guy, but he doesn't seem to be a bad person. Speaking of which, how did you get here? If I'm not mistaken, you don't look like a person that would end up in a place like this. Well, no, that's... Oop, it's only fair that the person who asked tells their story first. My bad. I just like to be sure about things. I'm curious. That's the kind of person I am. I don't really want to know why you're here. I'm actually the manager of a company called Benedict Group, but I was put in this place because a guy from a rival company falsely accused me of tax evasion. Of course, I didn't do anything that would make God frown on me. I'm completely innocent. Benedict Group? No one around here knows about it, but it's a very big medical equipment maker. The head of such a big company is such a wasted-up old man. He certainly has a strange aura, but that just doesn't add up. Now it's your turn. I told you my story, so don't be so quiet and tell me yours. It's only fair. You're the one who talked. I didn't even ask. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter if I tell this old man or not. Something similar to you, Carl. I was put there for someone else's crime. Oh, so you were set up by someone else too, but you don't seem to be the kind of person to be resented by others. No, I voluntarily took the blame to protect my wife. Does that mean you took the blame for your wife's crimes? Yes. The day before I was sent to jail, I was at a reunion with my high school friends. I had been drinking, and after the reunion was over, I was waiting alone at the station for my wife to pick me up. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. Hey, where's Isabella? Is she sleeping at home? She's at your mother's right now. She's only 3 years old. I can't just leave her home alone, can I? You're right. She is usually dead asleep at this time of night. Don't worry about that. Come on, hurry up and get into the car. We have to go pick Isabella up from your mom's. Alright. Sorry I made you come all this way just to pick me up. I was pretty drunk at the time to see it, but something was off with my wife. Usually I would notice right away. I didn't realize that my wife was just as drunk as I was. No, I noticed after she started driving. She was far more drunk than I was. Hey, why are you swerving all over? Do you think you could drive straight? I'm driving straight. You're just drunk, Edward. Yeah, you're right, I'm drunk, but wait, why do you smell like alcohol? You got me. Actually, I'm drunk too. What? Are you stupid? Say that sort of thing first. I would have just taken a taxi home. No, that's a waste of money. I'm alright. Even when I'm drunk, I can drive just fine. That's not the point. Just stop the car for a while. I'll get a designated driver for us right now. That's where my memories blacks out. The next thing I saw was, in oncoming lane was a tragically twisted and mangled ball of steel, and I saw my wife kneeling in front of it. Oh my god, what do I do? Hey, wait, don't tell me. Did you cause an accident? Edward, it's your fault. You kept talking to me while I was driving. What are you even saying? You drank and drove, that's why. Wait, did you call an ambulance? There are still people in the car. Don't be stupid. If we called an ambulance, then they'll find out I was drunk and drove. Do you want me to be arrested? It's not like we can just run away with things like this. If it's too late to help them, then what are you going to do? Yeah, right. Anyway, we need to call an ambulance right now. That's better than becoming a murderer by letting them die, isn't it? Hey. What? Edward, you take the fall for it. I don't want to go to prison. What are you saying? Are you serious? Are you seriously saying that? Edward, you know, right? My dad is a city councilman, and he's planning to run for mayor in the near future. If I, his drunk daughter, were to have a drunk driving accident at a time like this... But if you say something like that, Do you think you can raise Isabella by yourself? I'm sure Isabella would be terribly sad if I wasn't around. Do you really want your cute little girl to feel that way? That's... While we were arguing back and forth, I saw red flashing lights approaching from the distance. It was a police car on night patrol. There wasn't any more time to think about it. Damn it, I didn't know what else to do. Okay, I got it. We'll say that I was the one drinking the car. We have to make sure our stories line up. Edward, thank you. I'll never forget this. And so I went like this. I, Edward Hatcher, was arrested by the police at my wife's place. Of course, I'd think that was the right thing to do. I'm sorry to my mother who raised me on her own, and my daughter who is waiting for my return, but it was the only way to protect the woman I love. Assuming that's true, well, it's not a story to go around boasting about anyway. Do you really think that was love? Strangers who don't know anything should keep their mouth shut. I have my own way of showing love. You've been talking big, but your words and actions are just insulting to the victims. What do you mean? It seems that the victims' lives were spared, but they must live with the pain of their injuries. Their suffering should pay by the one guilty, your wife. But you, as a husband, are just playing hero. You deprived your wife of the opportunity to make amends. Will that make the victims feel better? You were laughing at me a moment ago. Suddenly, you started lecturing me. This is why I hate old men. That's enough. If we keep talking like this, it's only going to make both of us feel bad. My bad. My daughter always says the same thing. I sound like I'm preaching to her. If you understand, then don't talk to me anymore. I'm going to bed. Well, don't be so angry. I'm just a nosy person by nature. When I see a self-sacrificing idiot like you, I can't leave him alone. If you understand, then please let me go to sleep already. I have a long interrogation tomorrow morning. I see, but listen to me. If you ever realize your mistake and want to start your life over, if you don't have anywhere to go at that time, I'd like you to come and visit me. Why would you do that? Well, it's just old people talking. Like I said before, I can't leave people like you alone. What a strange old man. Is he a pathological liar or something? The next day, Carl was released from the prison. According to what I heard later, he was also cleared of all charges in the subsequent trial. At the very least, his arrest for tax evasion really was a conspiracy by a rival company, but it didn't work out so well for me. Well, I chose to take my wife's place, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I still had a slim hope that she would come out and tell the truth. So when the judge sentenced me to 3 years in prison, I was very shocked. But now, I think it was a justified punishment for deceiving others and insulting the victims, but there's still something that I don't agree with. That's the way my wife behaved after I was thrown in jail. Oh, you've lost so much weight. Are you eating well? Not really. I'm so stressed I can't eat. You have to try and eat. You still have a long time left in prison. You sound like you're talking to a stranger. Who do you think I'm here for? Enough about that. What about Isabella? At the last visit, you promised that I would bring her to visit, didn't you? Oh, I decided not to after all. Plus, my dad is against it. What? Don't make such a scary face. I don't have a choice. We have to think about how it will affect her. I can't just tell her that her father is in jail. Wait a minute. What did you tell Isabella about me? I told her that Daddy went far away from here. Don't you think it's much easier to tell her that her beloved father is dead than to tell her that he's a criminal? I died? Yeah, so I won't be coming here anymore. The divorce papers will be sent to you through your lawyer, so please sign them as soon as possible. The next 3 years were full of despair. My loving wife betrayed me. My daughter thought I was dead. My mother, my only remaining relative, died before I could complete my sentence. When people learned that her son was arrested for drunk driving, they attacked and made fun of her. She took her own life out of that agony. During my sentence, I kept blaming myself, and I cursed my wife, who took everything from me. Of course, I know that half of it is my fault, but I couldn't keep my sanity any other way. 3 years after I was sentenced to imprisonment without chance of parole, I was released from prison. At that time, my heart was not in a good place. My mind was filled with curses towards my wife. While I was in prison, all I could think was, when I get out of here, I'm going to kill her. When I got out of prison, with the little money I had, I bought the cheapest kitchen knife I could find at Home Depot. I also bought vinyl tape from the dollar store. I had never touched a knife in my entire life. The vinyl tape was for just in case something happened. but when I killed her, I wanted to cause her as little pain as possible. Ah, Edward, it's you after all. I didn't recognize you for a moment, with such a scary face. As I was leaving the entrance of the home improvement center, I suddenly heard a voice behind me. I felt like I had heard that voice somewhere before. Somehow, it was a gentle voice that helped soothe my troubled heart. You aren't Carl by any chance? Oh, you remember me. It's been a long time. Looks like you've been released. Oh, yeah, well. Are you headed to your wife's now? Well, we're divorced already. It doesn't matter if you're divorced. You're the only father in the world for your child. Your daughter will be happy to see you. The moment the word child came out of Carl's mouth, I felt a burning sensation rising throughout my body. It was neither anger nor sadness, but a feeling I don't know how to explain. But I didn't need something dangerous like that just to go see your daughter. Let me hold on to it for you. Is your wife at family house right now? Do you want me to give you a ride? Yes, thank you. In the car on the way to my wife's parents' house, I talked a lot with Carl. Well, it wasn't so much talking as it was me complaining, but Carl didn't give me a single strange look. He listened to me earnestly. I felt my heart, blackened by hatred, was finally being filled with some light. Are you really coming too, Carl? It's fine. I've already boarded the ship. I'd like to ride it until the end. Or am I going to be interrupting your emotional reunion with your wife? No, don't tease me like that. There's no way this is going to be an emotional reunion. Oh, really? I don't think so. Sure. If you think so, I'm going to push the intercom now. The moment I pressed the intercom button, a ringing sound echoed. Immediately after I pressed the intercom button, I heard a thudding sound coming from inside the house. My heart was pounding nervously. By this time, my hatred toward my wife had faded away. I just wanted to see my daughter as soon as possible. I wanted to see how much Isabella had grown with my own eyes. That was the only thought that filled my mind. Daddy! It was neither my wife nor my parents-in-law who opened the front door. Someone I didn't know, but felt somewhat nostalgic. She was a sweet, lovely girl. As soon as she saw my face, her big round eyes filled with tears. Dad? Is that you, Dad? Are you my dad? Could you be Isabella? Yep, Dad. I told you she would be happy to see you. This is what he told me later. Carl visited my wife's parents' house just before my release from prison. I had only met him once in jail, so I was surprised that he took the trouble to find out the date of my release. I couldn't believe Carl, for a stranger like me, went out of his way to tell my daughter the truth. Actually, I've known your wife's father for a long time. Friends, you could say. I guess you could say I'm one of his supporters. Oh, is that right? But I didn't think you were really in jail. When your father-in-law told me about you, I lost my temper and yelled at him. Hello, Carl. Oh, Mr. Whittaker. I brought him here as promised. But that's not all that was promised. You know what happens next, don't you? Of course. Bella, hurry up and come outside. As I stood there stunned by this sudden turn of events, my wife came out from behind my father-in-law. Her face was pale. She was trembling, and her teeth were chattering. I'm sorry, as you can see. I'm sorry. I will make amends for this. What? What is this? Oh, come on now. You have to be more specific. What kind of atonement do you intend to make for them? First, we will pay $300,000 in alimony. If Edward wants, he can have custody of Isabella. This is Isabella's wish. I want to live with Dad from now on. Really, Isabella? Yep. I don't want to live with people like them either. They betrayed you and lied to me this whole time. Dad, you don't want to live with me? No, that's not it at all. Of course I do. How many times have I dreamed of this moment? You don't have to worry about your future either. I heard you were a good programmer before you went to jail. At my company, we're actually short on system engineers. If you agree, I'd like to hire you. Yes, of course. I'd be happy to. Can such dreams really come true? I had lost everything once, and got it all back in an instant. I felt a little bad for being so blessed. I thanked Carl over and over again. Then Carl smiled and said to me, You have nothing to worry about. Helping people is my hobby. I have a tendency to make everyone I meet smile, even if it's someone I've never met before. You were like a god to me, Carl. No. When I was young, I did a lot of bad things to grow my company, so this is my way of making amends, so you don't have to feel indebted to me. Carl said this with a carefree smile on his face. I thanked him again from the bottom of my heart. And then, to the daughter that hugged me happily, looking up into my eyes, I vowed to make her happy this time. That's the only thing a parent can do to make amends to their daughter. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you again. Please subscribe to our channel.